total, rather than a Village of Orland Park, our budget perspective. Obviously spending money on the parks and, the right-of-way and other things that have been mentioned here. I think it's because we recognize the importance of good schools for the vitality of our community. From my perspective, these things are just obvious win-win. I don't really understand why they're not getting done. As a resident, it concerns me that a demographic study, which we understand is done, it hasn't been released. I'd be surprised, based on everything we know what's going on in the state of Illinois, if it's not showing some declining enrollment. And I'm sure that it's also showing population shifts within the village as well. Again, I'm not a board member, but if that's the case, I would think that additions to schools at the cost that they could be, especially when you're not taking the money that's being offered here, doesn't make a lot of sense. And that shifting school boundaries for those schools, you're still in District 135, is maybe more financially stable. Also, it needs to be done from time to time. I know it was recently done in District 230. I think they recently did some of that. And yeah, parents do complain a little bit, but they get over that relatively quickly because it's all about the curriculum and the teacher that you have. Not necessarily about the school that you go to. And I certainly went through it when I was in District 135, and my kids went through it when they were in District 135, so I think we've all dealt with it. But to Trustee Compass' point, we sit on the village board, not the school board, and we're not privy to all the inner workings of what's happening there. Those are decisions for the school board to make. But one thing as residents we deserve is for those decisions and discussions to be transparent, because there's a lot of things here that don't really make sense. We've lost a significant amount of time trying to hammer out an IGA, correct, for this triangle.
Yeah, we've worked it since 21.
And it's not a requirement.
Correct.
Because we do represent the Village of Orland Park, in the absence of being able to find win-win solutions like we've brought up, I think we need to find winning solutions for the village that at least don't negatively impact other taxing bodies wherever possible. I just don't think, for that reason, I don't think we can allow the TIF to drag out any longer. The schools will still get what they're getting now, and we can, we can shrink the TIF down and include 9750 in it. I think you know that, as I mentioned earlier, I sent an email to the school board highlighting that fact, that we need a decision by the end of the month, or we're going to have to do in my opinion, we have to go in a different direction, redraw the TIF, leaving 9750 in the TIF until it expires. It's getting more expensive to do the project. We can't keep dragging this out. We got to get it done. So what I would like to do is ask the board if they concur to give direction to proceed with the plan I just outlined. Obviously, it won't be done overnight, but to start that process if the school boards don't move forward by the end of the month. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Joni?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So George, if you could start going down that path. Obviously, we'd have to vote formally once we have to make actual action. This is not an action. This is just a direction for you to, from a policy perspective, to start pursuing this as an option. But I think the board unanimously, we have to move on. 2021, I mean, it's just, we got to go.
At the end of this month, if we don't have significant progress on an IGA, then we will give direction to Friedman and our other attorney consultants to keep 9750 in the Main Street Triangle TIF for until it expires in 4 years.